I'm here today on the shores of Lake Erie in the heart of winter. In this part of the country, snowfall can reach extreme levels due to what they call lake effect, where several feet of snow can fall in a very short period of time. What is lake effect, you ask? Well, when cold air sweeps across the Great Lakes, it picks up moisture, evaporating off the relatively warmer surface of the water. As this warm air rises, it condenses into clouds. When the clouds make landfall over the relatively cooler land, the moisture freezes and falls in the form of snow. In 1996, a storm near Cleveland dumped nearly 6 feet of snow in 5 days. Now, all this snow is the reason why we're here to talk about step 5 of the problem-solving process, assessing and evaluating your solution. This is the final step in the cycle, and it's very often skipped, but this is where you can learn the most as a leader and a problem solver, and also make sure you got the job done. So let's bring you up to speed. It's late January, and yesterday you had a group of friends over for a Super Bowl party. Now, your favorite team didn't make it to the finals, but it's still fun to root for the underdog. Now the game is over. 5 plates of nachos and 3 extra large pizzas are gone. It's the next morning and it's time for your friends to go home. Only problem is, overnight, 3 feet of snow has fallen and it's blocked your hilly driveway. Ah, but you said to yourself, I got this. We can use the problem-solving process. So you took a quick look at step 1 and identified the problem as we must remove the snow from the driveway this morning so my friends can go home. Okay, simple enough. And you guys had fun in step 2, developing alternative solutions. But maybe there was a little too much maple syrup on your pancakes, because your options range from the expected, dig your way out, to some more creative ideas. In step 3, most of those ideas survived your screening criteria. For evaluation criteria, you use speed, minimum effort required, and fun. And somehow at the end of the process, you and your friends decided that the best option was to build a homemade flamethrower and blast your way out. Okay. In step 4 of the process, you developed your plan, and after about an hour of tinkering in the garage, you'd assembled a risky-looking and potentially lethal assembly of pieces and parts that might just work, and you mounted it in an old wheelbarrow. So, with a slightly nervous look at each other, you open the garage door and hit the switch. An enormous orange flame burst from the nozzle, shooting out 5 feet into the snow, which was vaporized almost the instant it was hit by the flame. Soon, a veritable river of meltwater is flowing down the steep driveway and out into the street. In about 10 minutes, you made short work of all that nasty white stuff, and you'd cleared the driveway. It was so much fun your friends wanted to turn, and you ended up clearing the sidewalk in both directions. Problem solved, mission complete, right? Yeah, well, maybe, but before you put the flamethrower away, now might be a good time to pause and reflect on how things went. This is the critical and often overlooked step 5 of the problem-solving process, assess and evaluate. Now, you don't necessarily need to have a big formal meeting with a slide projector and PowerPoint presentation unless you're working on a bigger, more complex project. Often your moment of reflection can just be talk amongst your group or soliciting feedback from customers. But if it was important enough to go through the steps of the problem-solving process, then it's probably also worth it to sit down for a moment to determine if you were successful and if you learned anything along the way. It will only make you a better leader and a smarter one the next time around. Really, there's just one question to ask. Did your solution solve the problem? If it did, that's great. You can pat yourself on the back and maybe think for a moment about how using the problem-solving process brought you this success. Before you go and declare victory, it's a good idea to get some objective feedback just to be sure. For clearing the driveway, your criteria included speed and ease of effort. So you can check your watch, see if it took as long as you thought it would. Check your back. Is it tired from lifting all that snow? No. It starts to look like a success from your perspective. Here at the house, the snow is gone, there's a clear path from garage to street, and it looks like your friends can get out and head back home. Sweet. But it's a good idea to get feedback from other sources as well. If you were running a restaurant, you might sample the food yourself to make sure it tastes good. But you also want to know if the customers are happy, so you might talk to them or have them do a survey. People on social media are constantly getting and giving feedback every time they like or unlike something. For our purposes, it may be best just to get our feedback by testing the results of our work and see if we solved our problem. How do we test? Well, maybe let's see if we can actually get the minivan down to the street. And it might be that we're about to discover something. Seems all that melted snow has started to freeze back up, and now it's slicker than center ice at a hockey game. If your feedback is telling you that you have not solved the problem, or that now there's a new problem, then it's time to go back to step 1 of the problem-solving process, identify the problem. In this case, in our problem statement, maybe we should have included words about getting safely to the street, or in evaluating the alternatives considered safety and gone with a less risky alternative. Either way, since we've done step 5, assess and evaluate, we'll know better next time. As for our situation here, we can see things have changed a little bit, and now the problem will have something to do with removing the ice from the driveway, and maybe doing something about the cars blocking the street. And then there's the flaming mailbox. Take another run through the problem-solving process. I'm sure you'll come up with something. Thanks for watching.
Did you come?